Welcome in, everybody. It's the coach, and you're tuned in to Madden 19 on EA Sports. Straight ahead, back under center, Ryan Tannehill and the Miami Dolphins as his guys get set to take on Case Keenum and the Denver Broncos. With that, we're off to the Rocky Mountains. Standing by in Denver, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Coach, we find ourselves at the foot of the Rockies, Denver, Colorado, for this edition of the NFL on EA Sports. Just a short time ago, sounds loud enough to reverberate across the Rockies. They're ready for football in Denver as the Broncos get set to do battle with the Miami Dolphins. Happy to be on hand. I'm Brandon Godden with Charles Davis. And before we kick, partner, your keys to the game, please.
Well, my keys are on the defensive side of the ball for both teams. And the big one, making sure you avoid giving up the big play. These safeties are going to get tested all game long. Their job, keep the ball in front of them, tackle people, make them run extra plays in order to try and score.
And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. So here are the Broncos now for their opening drive. It'll be Case Keenum leading the charge, making his first start in a Bronco uniform here in this one.
And at the 2018 draft, when the Broncos number came up at 5, plenty of chatter that they might take a quarterback right there. Remember, Josh Allen was still on the board. Josh Rosen was still on the board. But the Broncos made a commitment to Case Keenum in free agency, and they're living up to it. Did not take a quarterback in that slot. Going to ride with their new number 4, Case Keenum.
Oh, he got position on him, and he pulls it in. A gain of 32 that time.
That's a big-time pitch and catch right there. And, partner, I remember the days when quarterbacks would try this. They were holding their breath. But nowadays, they're counting on their receiver to be just a little bit better than the defensive back when it's one-on-one and the ball's in the air like that.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. Now a play fake here on 1st down. And incomplete as he was knocked as he threw it. And it took the ball off course. Let's talk about the starting lineup offensively for the Denver Broncos, and let's talk about Devontae Booker.
I always described him as a guy who 8 carries in college, meaning just keep handing it to him, and he got better as the game went on. Had a knee injury his last year at Utah, comes in a little bit older than your average back, but boys, he's skilled and talented. And he emulates Emmitt Smith in one way. Loves to keep the ball in his left hand at all times.
And nearly an interception here on their opening drive. But instead, 3rd down. And let's run through the Dolphins' defense.
When Kiko Alonso first made it to the NFL, all I could think about was remembering him playing in college. And there's a wildness to him. There was also a control as well. Always around the football. And when he arrived, you knew that he was there. And then he'd fool you at times, too, because he'd pick off a pass and return it for a touchdown. You say, where did all that speed come from? I thought he was a total package coming out of Oregon.
Keenum. Oh, he almost picked it. Nearly a turnover there on their opening drive. And that's a throw he'd like to have back. Now 4th down.
I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
On is the punter King to send it away. Oh, and what a play on special teams here. This is going to be down inside the 5, all the way down at the 2-yard line. For the Miami Dolphins, Charles, if you just look at the first half of the season, you'd have to say it's a team that overachieved. Now, as we get toward the stretch run, is this a team that realistically makes a push for the playoffs?
It's hard to say that they will, because you mentioned them overachieving a little bit. They had some wins early you didn't expect them to get. But because of those wins, they had some losses early that you didn't expect them to take. So you're not sure what you're getting week in and week out. So if they do make a playoff push as a wild card out of the East, well, you're probably only getting one team out of the AFC South. So maybe the door is open a little bit. I know the West, you're talking about 2. And then, of course, in the AFC North, potentially 2. So they could make a push, but it almost feels like an 8-8 team the way that they've gone about their business so far.
If they do make it into the playoffs, probably a heck of an accomplishment for Miami this season.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid game. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
We've played a quarter here on Christmas Day. 0-0 our score. Charles and I back to Denver after this.
The NFL on EA Sports is fueled by Gatorade, the sports fuel company.
Back now with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Second quarter begins with the Dolphins in possession of the football. They've got a 3rd down and a yard to start things out. Tannehill hands to Bray, and he will have the first down as he's up to his 17-yard line. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains.
Everyone understood their role on that play. 3rd and 1. You know the defensive guys, they're trying to get down and get low and get leverage on the offensive lineman, but they didn't allow that to happen. They created a crease and allowed him to get through for a first down.
Tannehill, and he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. You know, Charles, it is hard to believe that we are sitting on the doorstep of Thanksgiving week. Already that time of year, but it always gives us good football. One of the games on Thanksgiving, Chicago and Detroit, that'll get the party started at 12:30 Eastern.
One of the traditional games, Detroit hosting, Dallas hosting, but in this case, we will stay in the Motor City. And this is the longest-running annual series in the NFL. A lot of people think about Detroit and Green Bay or Chicago and Green Bay. It's Detroit and Chicago. They've met at least once a year since 1930, 178 times total, and they just met 2 weeks ago in Chicago and going to do it again.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Back to the ground game here. Gore. He's got a first down past the 30. And he's going to get this all the way up to the 30-yard line. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. And we are back here. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. So the offense takes a timeout. And now we're set to get going. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now a first down throw, Tannehill. And an incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock here with just under a minute to play in half number 1. He was trying to get that one to Kenny Stills. And it's 2nd down. Well, week 12 in the NFL, also Thanksgiving week, and 3 games on Thanksgiving. We know about Chicago and Detroit, Washington, and Dallas. Don't forget about the 3rd and final game on Turkey Day, just as the early Black Friday shoppers are lining up. Atlanta and New Orleans.
And those Black Friday shoppers will be throwing serious elbows about the time this bad boy kicks off. Now think about this weekend, or think about this Thanksgiving. It has the feel of a college rivalry weekend, doesn't it? Every game, intense rivalry. Chicago, Detroit, Washington, Dallas, and now this one, Atlanta, New Orleans. These two don't like each other very much. A huge game in the NFC South. Can't wait to watch this one. Matt Ryan, Drew Brees matching each other throw for throw. I know they want to go for it here, and I know that their fans want them to go for it, but listen, I'm going to play head coach right here and look at the facts. Tie game. Plus, even if you get the first, you still got a half a field to go. I'll go ahead and punt the football myself.
And that one hits at the 7, but bounds into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. 9 seconds to play, likely the final snap of the first half, as it's 1st and 10. Here's Royce Freeman, the first carry for the rookie. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And he will perhaps get back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it. And time has run out on this first half. So we've reached halftime here on Christmas Day. As we send you on out to our studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome, everybody, to our abbreviated version.
And okay, so much for our halftime break. Apparently, we're going to get right back to it. So no scoring in our first half. What will the second half bring as we are now back underway? Jakeem Grant now to return. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Out comes the Dolphins now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that. And that's another stop for the defense, something we've seen all game long. They have been on fire today. No matter what's called by the offense, they've had an answer for it.
No gain that time, but it leaves them with 3rd and 11 coming up.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
Throwing on 3rd down, Tannehill. That's caught by his big tight end, Mike Gesicki. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. Give him 15 yards on that one, and the Dolphins have a first down.
We always hear from coaches how much they like to run crossing routes because they want to hit their receivers on the go, get them the ball, and keep them moving.
And the Broncos get there and take him down. Shane Ray in there to bring him down for a loss of 7.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front, nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this 3rd quarter. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back now to Denver as we are set to bring you the home stretch here, the 4th quarter. Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. They'll run it now out of the gun. And nothing doing here as this time the run maybe gets them back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up.
Short gain last 2 plays. Who do you think's excited about that?
Absolutely. This defense, they're saying go right ahead with those. Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against?
Encroachment, defense.
A free 5 yards as the defense jumps.
I know it's an anticipation game for them, but it's also a reaction game, and they reacted poorly on that one.
And the penalty helps, but not a whole lot. It's still 3rd and long. They stay on the ground with Drake. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave them with a 4th down.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. And Denver getting set to take the field. They've got work to do, but they do still have a bit of time here.
And they've got to feel comfortable with that, but they have all their play sequences called. If they get out of bounds, that allows them to huddle and call another play. But if they don't, it's hurry up to the line of scrimmage or continue to move it downfield in order to try and get in range and win this game.
See if they can do just that. So 2nd and inches after that first down completion went just shy of the marker. Now it's Keenum. And he almost intercepted it. They haven't picked a ball off yet. That probably should have been their first. And it's 3rd down now. So he's unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here? Or is it just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well. Nearly an interception. If that one's picked off, it's over. So a new lease on life, so to speak.
A lot of times when you're in coverage, you're so focused on the man and the coverage that sometimes the ball, if it arrives, it surprises you. That may have happened to him in that situation.
Just 21 yards on the punt there. And it'll be Dolphin football. Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10. Now Tannehill. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Now before the 2nd down play, we'll get whistles and a timeout as they stop it with 22 ticks to go in the 4th. Tannehill now to throw. Amendola catching it left side. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. And now maybe they want some extra time to talk about this 3rd and long play as we'll get a timeout. As they'll stop it with 13 seconds left to play. Now it's Tannehill. He goes underneath to Drake. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down. Here's Matt Hawk now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And a nice job here to down this one right on the 5-yard line. So 4 quarters wasn't enough, and we are off to overtime. Don't change that dial. A little teaching moment here. Overtime rules. Remind us how this goes, partner.
Okay, so in the past, we had sudden death. First team to score wins, but no longer. Now, if the team receives the ball, scores a touchdown, they win the game. If they kick a field goal, though, or don't score, the other team gets a possession. And after both teams get a possession, then we're into sudden death. First team to score wins the game.
So the Broncos coming out now. They control their own destiny here. They have the football in overtime. Obviously, a touchdown would win it.
And I think teams around the league are still adjusting to the idea of going downfield, scoring a touchdown wins the game because they were used to just going downfield and trying to get in field goal range to win a game. Still having to make that transition. Let's face it now, the ones who are doing it best know they need to go down, attack, put the ball in the end zone, and not leave it up to a field goal and give the other team a chance.
As we said, they control their own destiny now. They'll start the drive with Drake. And he powers his way up past the 30. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it 2nd down. Short gain there to start overtime.
Almost a tester play, wasn't it? Wanted to see if the guys on defense were going to fit the gaps the correct way because we're in overtime. So it's not just physical tiredness out there, right? Mentally, are you still doing what you're supposed to do? And they were up to the task on that play.
And certainly fatigue on both sides of the football. It's 3rd and 4. Big play here, trying to keep this opening drive of overtime alive.
Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things. But the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
I know they may want to go for this, but the smart play probably to punt it, even given the field position, right?
In a sense, you honor what they've done all game. And this is a defense that's held the score down, kept it tight, kept you right in it. and they're really jonesing for one more shot. Give it to them. Let them play defense for you and give you a better chance to win the game.
And Denver getting set to take the field. Well, they're going to have to go at least 50, 60 yards here if they want to ensure that they don't have to punt the ball like they did last time.
Yeah, so what you're saying is we're not playing to just get out of the shadow of your own goal line, right? You're playing to make sure the punter doesn't see the field again. So it's not picking up a couple of first downs. You want to pick up 5 or 6 first downs and make sure you move the ball to their territory.
A really nice gain of 25 yards. Backed up deep in their own territory. They were in search of a cushion, and the cushion was found.
And you have to think total game, even in overtime. As a head coach, field position still counts in this spot. So they had to get out from the shadow of their own goal line, get themselves some breathing room. Obviously, that helps them on offense, but it may help their defense, too. It might be necessary here in OT.
Here's Keenum to throw. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver. That'll bring up second down.
Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
Another throw on second down, and this one incomplete as well. Another nice job there defensively. They've really stymied their passing attempts, and it continues in overtime.
And for them to do that, that means they've had to be cohesive on defense. Pressuring the quarterback's face, good coverage of not just the wide receivers, but the tight end, the running backs when they try and slip out, and making sure they're at the point of attack. When the ball's in the air, they get there and help force some of those incompletions.
Thought they were going to force a fourth down. Instead, P.I. gives them the first.
And that's frustrating because you think you've taken them really deep into the count, haven't you? Instead, you've got to start all over. That can really, really be demoralizing.
Keenum, and that's complete to the tight end Hireman. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Let's go.
To the air again, Keenum. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete.
Let's give some credit to the defensive guys on that play. Able to bat that one away. Sure looked like they were trying to hit the corner route.
So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. Keenum now to throw. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he's going to get this inside the 30. 12 yards there as they keep this drive rolling. It's another first down.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in, and picks up the first down.
Booker on first down. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. That's going to go as a loss of 6, and it'll set him back for second down.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
I think he's a little trigger happy right there, and it turned into an ill-advised throw into their zone.
Well, we know he has confidence. He'll throw it any place, anytime, anywhere. That time it fell incomplete. On 3rd and long, it's Keenum. Oh, so close, but incomplete. Could have been a big turnover in overtime if he'd held on. Instead, though, it's 4th down.
I know ultimately that feels like a good defensive play, but I know it's really not. They had a chance to keep points off the board. Now they have a chance to kick a field goal by missing that shot.
Yeah, especially at this spot in the field. He's got to be upset he couldn't come up with that INT. And that is not going to get there. Oh, he missed it short. It's no good. And that changes everything here in OT. Tannehill and the Dolphins break the huddle. Come up 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. So possible disaster there. It's an empty possession, and there's no worse time to have an empty possession than the first drive of overtime.
Yeah, and remember the situation now, Brandon. It's sudden death from here on out. You can bet he's begging for a chance to redeem himself. But the question now is, will that chance ever come?
Great way to start the drive. 20 big ones and a first down.
That outside handoff to the left, that play has to warm the heart of an offensive line coach because they controlled the left side where they were supposed to. They didn't allow anything to leak from the backside on the right side of the offensive line either. Well played.
Yeah, and it created a big run.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
It's complete to Drake. And now we won't see a play on first down. We're going to get a timeout instead. That's their second and last timeout here in the overtime session. We'll be back. And this is going to miss left. I don't think it even got there either. It's no good either way, and we will play on here in overtime. So it's an empty possession, and as a kicker, not the way you want to start your day's work.
And now each team's missed a field goal here so far, Brandon, so apparently neither guy is immune.
Now Keenum, and this is incomplete.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Keenum now to throw. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything...
The Broncos on 3rd down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This will be 3rd and 5. A shotgun snap for Keenum. And he finds Hamilton. That's complete. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. And give him a gain of 37. Well, in overtime, I think coaches always wondering, where's that magic line for my kicker? They're already in field goal range after that big play.
I'm glad you brought that up because that magic line can change throughout the game. It's constantly being updated by teams. It starts with pregame. Okay, how do you feel? As the game goes on, they might ask him again, still feel that same number? Is it a different number? Right hash, left hash, what do you need? And that goes into the play calling in OT.
We thought this game would be a good one. It did not disappoint into overtime, and it took the field goal to win it.
And we always pay lip service to how important it is to play defense. And usually we focus on the big offensive pyrotechnics, right? But in this case, they got the ball back on defense, gave themselves a chance, and they capitalized on it with a victory.
And I don't care what distance that field goes from in overtime. The knees are always knocking, but he pushed it through.
Not only that, think about your snapper, your holder. A lot of nerves for them, too, because they have to do their job in order to give him one last chance to put a foot to it.
So for our entire crew, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.